I heard the stars whisper my name, and that was the night humanity stopped being alone.
The signal came from a dead star, no light, no heat, no life. And somehow, it was speaking her name. Commander Lyra Voss had answered thousands of distress calls in deep space. Broken ships, dying colonies, lost miners drifting in silence. But this signal was different. It did not repeat coordinates. It did not ask for help. It did not use language. It whispered directly into her mind. Lyra. One word, her name. And from that moment, nothing in human history would ever be the same. Mysterious. Beginning in the year 2189, humanity had crossed the edges of its own fear. Mars was old news. Titan had cities under ice. Europa had oceans with lights moving beneath them. Human ships traveled farther now, cutting through folded space like knives through silk. And still, humanity was alone. No alien ruins, no alien signals, no gods in the dark. Just silence, a terrifying, endless silence, until the dead star sang. The signal came from a black region beyond mapped space. A place so cold and lightless that long-range satellites had marked it as empty. Sector N47, a graveyard of dust and frozen worlds. No one should have been there. So when the signal appeared on deep space rescue channels, Central Command assumed it was interference, a ghost echo, broken code. Then it bypassed every communication firewall in the solar network and appeared only on one ship. The Astra 9, Lyra's ship. She was alone when it happened. 1 minute she was drifting above the rings of a shattered moon, logging salvage routes. The next, every screen on her bridge went black. Then one line of light appeared, a pulse, slow, steady, alive. And then she heard it. Not through the speakers, not through her comm implant. Inside her head, Lyra. Her blood turned cold. The voice was not human, it was ancient, and it sounded lonely. Character introduction: Commander Lyra Voss was not the kind of woman who believed in miracles. She was 32, a rescue pilot, former military navigator, one of the best deep space recovery specialists in the Outer Fleet. She had survived vacuum exposure, engine fires, pirate raids. 3 ship burials. She trusted numbers, fuel, distance, gravity, not ghosts, not destiny, not voices in her mind. But Lyra also carried something she never spoke about. Loss. 10 years earlier, her younger sister Elin had vanished during a civilian transport collapse near Neptune. No wreckage, no survivors, just static and silence. Lyra had spent years chasing black boxes and wreck trails, hoping for one impossible answer. She never found one. Since then, space had become less like a frontier and more like a grave. She kept moving because stopping meant remembering, and remembering meant Elin. So when the signal spoke her name, Lyra did what she always did with fear. She locked onto the coordinates and flew toward the dark. Alien encounter. Dead Star was not dead. It was sleeping. At the edge of Sector N47, Lyra found no sun, no star, no heat signature, only darkness. Wrapped around something impossible. A structure. It was larger than a moon, a black sphere suspended in the void, smooth as glass, ancient beyond reason. No engines, no visible metal, no seams, no marks of construction. It did not look built. It looked grown. Her ship drifted closer, tiny against its scale. Scans failed immediately. No readable material, no power source. No radiation, and yet it pulsed like a heartbeat. Slow. Ancient, waiting. Then the sphere opened. Not mechanically, like an eye. Its surface peeled apart in silent petals, revealing a chamber filled with blue light. And before Lyra could turn her ship, the Astra 9 was pulled inside. No impact, no collision, just silence. Then stillness. Her engines died. Her weapons died. Even her emergency lights dimmed. Lyra stepped out alone. No crew, No backup. Only her breath and the sound of her pulse inside her. Helmet. The chamber was impossibly vast. A cathedral built by intelligence older than human language. Towers of black crystal rose into darkness. Rivers of light moved beneath transparent floors. Symbols drifted in the air like living constellations, and in the center of it all stood someone waiting. At first, Lyra thought it was human, a woman, tall, graceful, still. Then it opened its eyes. They were not eyes. They were stars. The being looked almost human, but not enough.
Skin like pale silver, hair moving as if underwater, a face beautiful in the way storms are beautiful, elegant, terrifying, impossible to forget. It studied Lyra with ancient sorrow. Then it spoke, not with sound, with memory, and Lyra saw oceans.
Beneath red skies, cities carved into living mountains, children of light running beneath 3 suns, towers singing across worlds, a civilization so vast it made humanity feel newborn. Then she saw them die, world after world falling into silence. Stars, going dark, a war older than Earth, and at the center of the ruin, this being, alone, waiting, for her. Its name could not be spoken by a human mouth, so Lyra called her Nahara. The alien did not resist. Nahara was not flesh in the way humans understood flesh. She was the last living vessel of a species called the Aelith, an ancient civilization that had learned how to preserve thought beyond death. Their bodies faded. Their cities fell. But their minds endured, stored in living structures, sleeping beneath stars, waiting for someone who could hear them. For thousands of years, Nahara had drifted alone with the memory of her people locked inside her, a living tomb, a living archive, a living ghost. And somehow, Lyra could hear her. No human ever had. Not because Lyra was special, because she was broken in the right way. Grief had changed her mind. Loss had carved space inside her. And in that emptiness, Nahara's voice could enter. Lyra did not understand why that thought hurt so much. But it did. Over hours, maybe days, time felt wrong inside the sphere. Nahara showed her everything. The Aelith had once crossed galaxies, like rivers. They did not conquer. They cultivated. They seeded dead worlds with oceans, lifted civilizations from extinction, sang mathematics into matter. They were not gods, but to younger species, they had looked like gods. Then something found them, a force without shape, without mercy, without negotiation, a hunger that consumed memory itself, not bodies. Memory, the enemy, erased civilizations so completely that even grief could not remember them. The Aelith had not been destroyed. They had been forgotten, all but Nahara. She had fled with what remained of her species, their memories, their voices, their history, sealed inside the black sphere, and she had been alone ever since, until Lyra. For the first time in ages, Nahara was no longer alone, and for the first time since Elin, neither was Lyra. Conflict, threat. Then Earth. Found them. Lyra's disappearance had triggered emergency tracking. Outer Fleet Command traced the Astra 9 to Sector N47. Within 18 hours, warships arrived. Humanity had spent centuries waiting for first contact. It did not arrive with wonder. It arrived armed. Admiral Soren Cade led the fleet. Pragmatic. Brilliant. Ruthless. He saw the sphere and understood only one thing. Power. A structure older than human civilization. A technology beyond comprehension. A weapon if controlled. He ordered immediate seizure. Lyra warned him not to enter. He didn't listen. Human drones breached the outer chamber. None returned. Then the stars went dark. Every ship in orbit lost power. Every weapon died. Every screen became a mirror. And something moved in the black between ships. Not Nahara. Something else. something that had followed her, the Devourer. It had found the signal. It had followed Lyra home. Nahara had not called humanity for rescue. She had called humanity for warning. The thing that erased her civilization was here, and now it had seen Earth. Big revelation. Panic spread across the fleet. Ships drifted powerless. Pilots screamed. Into dead comms. Then people began forgetting. Names vanished first. Then mission codes. Then faces. Then language. Crew members looked at lifelong friends and saw strangers. Men forgot their children. Women forgot their own voices. The Devourer was feeding. Not on flesh. On identity. Lyra watched hardened soldiers collapse in terror as their own memories were peeled away, and then she understood the true horror. Death was not what this thing brought, erasure. To die was one thing. To be forgotten by reality itself was another. Nahara revealed the truth. The Devourer was not a species. It was a wound, a self-aware collapse born from ancient experiments in consciousness. The Aelith had once tried to store minds beyond time. They succeeded, then pushed too far. They tore something open. A living emptiness, a hunger inside thought itself. The Devourer was not their enemy. It was their mistake, and now it had come for Earth. There was only one way to stop it. Nahara's archive, the final memory of the Aelith, had to be burned. Every stored mind, every preserved voice, every last trace of her civilization, destroyed. The Devourer fed on memory. Deny it memory, and it would starve. But if Nahara burned the archive, her people would die a final death, truly, forever, and she would die with them. That was why she had called Lyra, not to save her, to ask permission to let go. Emotional climax. Lyra stood with Nahara at the heart of the sphere while human ships drifted in darkness around them. "Do it," Lyra whispered. Nahara looked at her, and for the first time, Lyra felt fear from her. Not fear of death, fear of being the last memory of everyone she had ever loved, and choosing to end them. Lyra stepped closer. She placed her hand against Nahara's, human skin against ancient light. "You were alone too long." Nahara showed her one final memory, a child beneath 3 suns, laughing, running into Nahara's arms, her daughter, gone for 10,000 years. Lyra broke, because grief was the same in every language. No empire, no species, no star escaped that pain. Nahara had not preserved history. She had preserved love, and now she had to bury it. Lyra held her as the sphere began to wake. Outside, the Devourer spread across the fleet like liquid night. Inside, Nahara ignited the archive. The chamber filled with light. Voices rose, millions of them, the last song of a dead civilization. Lyra heard laughter, music, children, rain, promises, names, then fire. Beautiful, merciless. The archive burned. The Devourer screamed. For the first time, the thing felt pain. Across the void, darkness cracked like glass. Human ships surged back to life. Stars returned. The black collapsed inward, folding into nothing. And in the center of the burning light, Nahara began to fade. Lyra held her tighter. Nahara touched Lyra's face like she was memorizing it. Then one final thought passed between them. Not words, just feeling. "Thank you for remembering us." And then Nahara was gone. Powerful ending twist. When the fleet returned to Earth, official history called it a solar anomaly, a classified event. No alien contact confirmed. No hostile intelligence recorded. The public never learned the truth. Admiral Cade made sure of that. Humanity was not ready. Maybe it never would be. Lyra resigned 3 weeks later. She never returned to command, never flew deep rescue again, but she changed. She laughed more softly, looked longer at the stars, spoke less, but felt more. Some nights she dreamed of red skies and singing towers, of a people she had never met and somehow missed. Years passed. Earth moved on, as it always does. Then one winter morning, Lyra was walking alone beyond the polar observatories when every machine in 100 miles shut down. The sky dimmed. Snow froze in the air. And above her, the stars moved, not naturally, deliberately. A pattern formed across the sky, ancient, impossible, alive. A message. Not from Nahara, from something beyond her, something that had been watching, waiting. And this time, it did not call her name. It spoke, one sentence to all of Earth. We remember you too. Then the sky opened.